She deflected bullets with magical bracelets and fought for truth and justice with her golden lasso. For millions of viewers in the 1970s, Lynda Carter wasn't just playing Wonder Woman, she was Wonder Woman. The statuesque beauty with raven hair and piercing blue eyes became an overnight sensation, a feminist icon who showed the world that women could be powerful, heroic, and unabashedly feminine. But what happened when the cameras stopped rolling? What dark battles was our beloved Amazon princess fighting behind closed doors? Today, we're talking about the shocking truth about Lynda Carter's life after she hung up the star-spangled costume. A tale of triumph, tragedy, and the incredible strength that proves she truly embodied Wonder Woman's spirit off-screen. When we last saw Lynda Carter spinning into her red, white, and blue costume in 1979, she appeared to have the world at her feet. At just 28 years old, she had achieved what most actors spend a lifetime pursuing: international fame, critical acclaim, and a role that would define a generation. But what most fans never knew was that as Wonder Woman's final episode aired, Lynda Carter was facing a crisis that would threaten everything she had built. Let's rewind briefly to understand how our heroine arrived at this critical juncture. Born Lynda Jean Cordova Carter to a Mexican-Spanish mother and English-Irish father in Phoenix, Arizona, Carter's path to stardom wasn't paved with silver spoons.
Congratulations, first of all, on a legacy. And before you were Wonder Woman, you were very much a singer, and you still are. And you say it's your first passion.
Yeah, I started singing when I was about 14 years old, and I've been singing ever since. I moved to LA and did some studio singing and that sort of thing.
And I love the fact that you sing a whole bunch of different musical genres.
I do.
And you shared the stage with many greats. You really like Kenny Rogers.
Kenny Rogers, Ray Charles. Gosh, I'm trying. George Benson.
By age 16, she was already performing in bands, sneaking through kitchen entrances at Las Vegas hotels to perform because she was underage. After dropping out of Arizona State University to pursue music, her life took a dramatic turn when she was crowned Miss World USA in 1972. But it was landing the role of Wonder Woman in 1975 that catapulted her to superstardom. And here's where our story takes its first dark turn. At the height of her fame, when the cameras were capturing her iconic bullet-deflecting moves, Lynda was fighting a villain far more insidious than any the show's writers could conjure. "I didn't start drinking until my mid-20s," Carter has revealed in rare interviews about this period. This timeline coincides precisely with her Wonder Woman years. While audiences watched Diana Prince confidently save the day week after week, the actress portraying her was increasingly turning to alcohol to cope with the pressures of fame and an unhappy first marriage to talent manager Ron Samuels. What makes this revelation so shocking is how completely Carter managed to conceal her struggle. Not a single tabloid caught wind of her battle with alcoholism during her Wonder Woman run. No paparazzi photos emerged of late-night binges. No directors complained of her arriving late to set. Lynda Carter was performing the most demanding physical role on television while fighting a private war against addiction, and nobody knew. But the alcohol was merely masking deeper pain. Her marriage to Samuels was deteriorating rapidly. The union, which lasted from 1977 to 1982, coincided almost perfectly with Wonder Woman's run and its aftermath. As she later described it, "I was in a marriage I shouldn't have been in." The irony was painfully stark. While portraying the ultimate symbol of female empowerment on screen, off-screen she felt trapped in a relationship that was draining her power away. When Wonder Woman ended in 1979, Carter's struggle intensified. Like many actors who become synonymous with iconic characters, she found herself typecast. Hollywood executives couldn't see beyond the bullet-deflecting bracelets and golden lasso. The work slowed down, the drinking picked up. "I would take 2 or 3 year breaks from alcohol only to start again," Carter has admitted. Few fans realized that during the 1980s, when they wondered why their beloved Wonder Woman wasn't appearing in major new roles, she was fighting for her sobriety and often losing that battle. But here's where our story takes an unexpected turn toward hope. In 1982, at a dinner party hosted by Maybelline Cosmetics, for whom Carter was a spokesperson, she met Robert Altman, not the famous director, but a high-powered attorney representing Maybelline's parent company. The chemistry was instant and electric. 2 years later, they married. But this is no simple, and then she found love and everything was perfect tale. Robert Altman became her partner in the truest sense. He saw the woman behind Wonder Woman with all her struggles and demons. In 1989, Lynda gave birth to their son James, followed by daughter Jessica in 1990. Becoming a mother brought both joy and heightened inner conflict. Though her children never saw her out of control, she later admitted that her addiction prevented her from being fully present for them in the way she wanted to be. The turning point came in the early 1990s when Robert did something truly heroic. He confronted her about her drinking. Think about the children, he urged. His intervention wasn't dramatic or public. It was a quiet act of love that finally broke through her defenses. In 1997, Lynda Carter checked into rehab. This time was different. She emerged with a fierce determination that would have made Diana Prince proud. She has remained sober for over 23 years now, a victory more meaningful to her than any accolade or award. But life wasn't finished testing our heroine. In 2003, her mother Jean was diagnosed with Alzheimer's disease at age 79. For the next decade, Carter watched as the disease slowly claimed the woman who had always been her biggest supporter. Through it all, Carter fought to preserve her mother's dignity, refusing to play what she calls the "don't you remember" game, even as her mother's memories faded. Jean passed away in 2013 at age 89. In her grief, Carter found purpose, becoming a vocal advocate for Alzheimer's research and lending her support to Maria Shriver's women's Alzheimer's movement. Just when it seemed Carter had endured enough hardship for one lifetime, February 20th, 2021 brought the most devastating blow yet. Robert Altman, her husband of 37 years, the man who helped her find sobriety, her rock, died from complications of myelofibrosis, a rare blood cancer. The love of my life, she called him in a heartbreaking tribute after decades of facing challenges together, including his 1992 banking fraud trial, where he was ultimately acquitted of all charges. She now faced life without her partner. Yet even in this darkest moment, Lynda Carter has demonstrated the resilience that made her perfect for the role of Wonder Woman all those years ago. In October 2021, 8 months after losing Robert, Carter released Human and Divine, honoring their love. She continues performing, advocating for causes, and appeared in Wonder Woman 1984 as Asteria, with rumors of future appearances. At 70, Lynda Carter embodies real heroism, not deflecting bullets, but rising each day despite loss. Her battles with alcoholism, grief, and commitment to advocacy reveal the true Wonder Woman. The golden lasso compelled truth, and Carter now embraces her own. Sharing struggles to help others, she's proven our greatest strength lies in revealing vulnerabilities, not hiding them. The Amazon princess who captivated us decades ago inspires still, not despite her struggles, but through them. Her greatest achievement isn't playing a superhero, but being one. What if I told you that one of NASCAR's most beloved icons once nearly lost it all? Before the $300 million empire, before the sprawling 200-acre estate, Dale Earnhardt Jr. made a decision that could have destroyed everything his family had built. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the untold financial journey of NASCAR's favorite son, revealing the high-stakes gambles, silent struggles, and brilliant business moves that racing fans have never heard before. While millions watched him dominate the track, nobody saw the financial chess match playing out behind the scenes. By the end of this expose, you'll understand why Dale Jr.'s greatest victory wasn't won behind the wheel, but in boardrooms and back offices where fortunes are truly made. Growing up as the son of NASCAR legend Dale Earnhardt Sr. came with expectations that would crush most people. What fans don't realize is that Dale Jr. was initially hesitant to follow in his father's tire tracks. In fact, according to insiders, young Dale originally pursued automotive technology not to race, but because he feared he might need a real job if racing didn't pan out. This practical mindset would later become the foundation of his financial empire. Unlike many athletes who squander their earnings, Dale Jr. approached his wealth with the same calculated precision he showed on the track. While collecting trophies on Sundays, Monday through Friday, he was strategically building a business portfolio that would eventually eclipse his racing income. At the height of his racing career, Dale Jr. was pulling in between $25 to $30 million annually, making him NASCAR's highest-paid driver from 2008 to 2015. But here's what the cameras never captured. Dale was reinvesting nearly 80% of his earnings back into business ventures that experts considered extremely risky at the time. The biggest gamble? JR Motorsports, his racing team that initially hemorrhaged money. Everyone thought I was crazy, Dale once confided to a close associate. They said owning a team would bankrupt me. For the first 3 years, the venture operated deeply in the red, with Dale personally covering millions in losses against the advice of financial experts. That decision, which seemed financially reckless at the time, has now become one of his most valuable assets, transforming from a money pit into a cornerstone of his $300 million empire. While fans marvel at his 200-acre Mooresville estate with its go-kart track and collection of vintage cars, few know about Dale Jr.'s strategic real estate investments across the American South. Sources close to the racing star reveal he has quietly amassed over 40 commercial properties in 5 states, many purchased during the 2008 recession when prices bottomed out. Dale saw opportunity when everyone else saw disaster, says a former business partner who requested anonymity. He was buying prime commercial real estate at 30 cents on the dollar while other celebrities were selling their assets in panic. These properties now generate an estimated $15 million in annual passive income, money that continues flowing whether he's on the track or not. When Dale Jr. transitioned from driver to broadcaster, fans viewed it as a natural evolution for the charismatic racer. What they didn't see was the brilliant contract negotiation happening behind closed doors. Industry insiders report that Dale's broadcasting agreement with NBC Sports contains unprecedented profit-sharing clauses tied to advertising revenue that his segments generate. This means that unlike other retired athletes who simply collect a salary, Dale Jr. essentially owns a percentage of the commercial airtime during his segments, a deal structure that has never been replicated in sports broadcasting. Perhaps the most closely guarded secret involves Dale's inheritance following his father's tragic death in 2001. Contrary to public assumption, Dale Jr. did not immediately receive a windfall. In fact, complicated estate planning issues created a financial strain that Dale Jr. never publicly discussed. There were years right after his father's passing where Dale was asset-rich but cash-poor, reveals a longtime family friend. He was worth millions on paper but sometimes struggled with liquidity. This little-known financial pressure forced Dale Jr. to become more financially savvy than most athletes, learning hard lessons about wealth management that would later serve him well. While Dale Jr.'s charitable foundation is well known, what remains hidden is the extent of his anonymous giving. According to those in his inner circle, Dale Jr. has a strict policy about unpublicized donations that often exceed his public charitable work. One former assistant claims that Dale personally covers medical expenses for several families of former racing crew members who fell on hard times, with the strict condition that his involvement never be disclosed. These private acts of generosity reportedly account for millions in annual giving that never appear in public records. While traditional NASCAR fans celebrate Dale's on-track achievements, they're largely unaware of his tech investments that have quietly become some of his most valuable assets. Dale was an early investor in several racing simulation platforms and esports teams, ventures that initially seemed like hobbies but have exploded in value as digital racing has gained mainstream popularity. Dale saw the digital future of racing before most of the industry did, explains a tech entrepreneur who partnered with Earnhardt on a venture in 2015. He understood that the next generation of race fans would experience the sport differently. His foresight led to early investments in technologies that are now standard in racing, positioning him to profit from the sport's digital evolution. Dale Jr. has masterfully leveraged his name and likeness in ways that continue to generate substantial revenue streams. Unlike many athletes who sign away rights for quick paydays, Dale maintains strict control over his personal brand with specific limited licensing agreements that typically include revenue sharing rather than flat fees. This strategy has created what business analysts call perpetual income, money that continues flowing regardless of his active participation in the sport. His merchandise continues continues to outsell many active drivers years after his retirement. Today, with a net worth of $300 million, Dale Earnhardt Jr. isn't just wealthy by NASCAR standards. He's become one of America's most successful athlete entrepreneurs. Yet despite his financial success, those close to him say he remains surprisingly frugal in certain aspects of his life, still changing the oil in his own cars and negotiating deals personally rather than delegating to an army of agents. As for the future, sources close to Dale Jr. reveal he's quietly assembling a diversified investment portfolio designed to reach the billion-dollar mark within the next decade, a goal that would make him the first NASCAR driver to join the billionaire ranks. The true story of Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s fortune isn't just about inheriting a famous name or winning races. It's about strategic vision, calculated risks, and business acumen that fans rarely glimpse. While they cheered his on-track victories, his greatest achievements may have happened far from public view, in the quiet decisions that transformed racing success into lasting wealth. For a man who made his name turning left at 200 miles per hour, Dale Jr.'s most impressive feat might be navigating the treacherous financial turns that derail so many professional athletes. And that might be his most valuable legacy of all, showing that in wealth, as in racing, it's not just about how fast you go, but how smartly you drive.
Hailie Degan making a name for herself in the racing world, full-time here in ARCA this year. What's the big term plan for you?
Man, it's been crazy, just the ARCA series, so many cool tracks that we get to go to, but long term, obviously, the end goal is to make it to the Cup Series, which any racer here, that's their end goal. So I know we all got the same thing in mind, but yeah, it's a work in progress, learning curve. It's going to take time, a lot of development.
The roar of engines, the smell of burning rubber, the checkered flag waving in the distance. NASCAR, a world dominated by male drivers for decades. But there's one name challenging the status quo, a name that makes NASCAR executives nervous, a name they'd prefer you didn't look too closely at, Hailie Degan. At just 21 years old, this California native isn't just breaking records. She's shattering the entire NASCAR paradigm. But her journey to the top hasn't been the fairy tale NASCAR's marketing team wants you to believe. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on what NASCAR doesn't want you to know about Hailie Degan, the untold struggles, the family legacy they downplay, and the raw determination that threatens to revolutionize the sport forever. Most racing fans know Hailie Degan as the promising young talent in the Craftsman Truck Series, driving the number 19 Monster Energy Toyota Camry. What they don't know is that Hailie's path to NASCAR was predetermined before she could even walk. Born into motorsport royalty, Hailie's father isn't just any dad, he's Brian Degan, the motocross legend and co-founder of Metal Militia. NASCAR's carefully crafted narrative often minimizes this connection, preferring to paint Hailie as a self-made prodigy rather than acknowledge the motorsport dynasty she comes from. Why? Because NASCAR thrives on the small-town hero narrative, the notion that anyone from anywhere can make it to the top with enough grit and determination. The reality of racing's dynastic nature doesn't fit neatly into this marketing strategy. What NASCAR doesn't advertise is that by age 7, while most kids were learning to ride bikes without training wheels, Hailie was already dominating dirt tracks. By 8, she had graduated to trophy kart racing. And on her high school graduation day, she skipped the ceremony to compete in a race. This isn't just passion, it's programming. The Degan family doesn't just race. They live and breathe speed, danger, and competition. But here's what really makes NASCAR executives uncomfortable. Hailie Degan isn't playing by their rules. In 2018, she made history by becoming the first woman to win a NASCAR K&N Pro Series race. This wasn't supposed to happen. Not this soon, not this dramatically. Female drivers in NASCAR have traditionally been positioned as novelties, not champions. They're marketed for their appearance first, talent second. Hailie flipped that script, forcing NASCAR to reckon with a female driver who couldn't be relegated to female driver status. She was simply a winner. And then there's the money. The racing industry has a vested interest in maintaining the myth that success comes primarily through talent rather than financial backing. The uncomfortable truth? Racing is one of the most expensive sports to break into. While NASCAR happily promotes Hailie's $450,000 per season salary, what they don't emphasize is the millions required to get to that point. From her earliest dirt bike days through multiple racing series, the Degan family's investment in Haley's career likely reaches into 7 figures. This is the dark secret of motorsports that organizations like NASCAR prefer to keep quiet, the astronomical financial barriers to entry that keep talented drivers from disadvantaged backgrounds from ever getting a shot. Then there's Haley's social media empire, an aspect of her career that makes traditional NASCAR executives deeply uncomfortable. With over 1.3 million followers across platforms, Haley isn't just a driver. She's a brand, a content creator, and a direct-to-fan marketing powerhouse. She doesn't need NASCAR's permission to speak to her audience. This direct connection threatens the traditional power dynamics in racing, where drivers were expected to be grateful, compliant brand ambassadors who stayed on message. Haley represents the new generation drivers who build their own platforms and bring their own audiences to the sport, rather than the other way around. Her YouTube presence with her family gives fans unprecedented access to life behind the scenes. No carefully staged photo ops, no scripted interviews, just raw, unfiltered reality that NASCAR can't control. And let's talk about what really makes NASCAR nervous: Haley's potential to become bigger than the sport itself. In racing's hierarchy, the sport has always been positioned above any individual driver. Stars come and go, but NASCAR remains. Haley challenges this order. With her crossover appeal, social media presence, and unique position as a groundbreaking female driver, she has the potential to transcend NASCAR entirely. This explains the organization's careful, measured promotion of her career. They want her success, but not too much, not too fast, and certainly not on her terms. Behind the glamorous race day appearances lies another reality NASCAR rarely showcases: the physical toll of racing. Haley's commitment to fitness isn't just about looking good for sponsors. It's about survival. Racing at 180 miles per hour generates G-forces comparable to what fighter pilots experience. The physical strain is immense, and the danger ever present. NASCAR's sanitized presentation of racing glosses over these harsh realities, preferring to focus on the spectacle rather than the sacrifice. For female drivers like Haley, this physical challenge comes with added scrutiny. Every crash, every mistake is magnified through the lens of gender, a burden male drivers never face. This is the pressure cooker environment Haley navigates daily, a reality NASCAR's polished promotional videos conveniently omit. Then there's her personal life, including a relationship with fellow racer Chase Cabre and a frightening stalker incident that NASCAR's PR machine worked overtime to minimize. The stalker situation revealed an uncomfortable truth about female athletes in the public eye. They face dangers their male counterparts rarely encounter. NASCAR's response? Downplay. Move on. Keep smiling for the cameras. Haley and Chase's relationship exemplifies racing's close-knit culture, living together in Mooresville, North Carolina, racing's heartland, in a home whose value remains conspicuously undisclosed. What truly threatens NASCAR is what Degan represents: change itself. In this tradition-bound sport resistant to evolution, Haley embodies racing's future. Young, media-savvy, and unapologetically authentic, she's the new breed of NASCAR star who doesn't need the organization as much as it needs her. Her Haley's Holiday Haul charity, delivering thousands of pounds of food to those in need, demonstrates her understanding that modern athletes must transcend their sport, building personal fan loyalty that belongs to her, not NASCAR. So what doesn't NASCAR want you to know about Haley Degan? That she's rewriting the rules of what it means to be a racing star in the 21st century, that she represents both the greatest opportunity and the greatest threat to racing's status quo, that her success could forever change who gets to compete at the highest levels of motorsport. Haley Degan isn't just racing against other drivers on the track. She's racing against an entire system designed to control, contain, and capitalize on talent while maintaining the power dynamics that have defined NASCAR for generations. And that perhaps is what they fear most of all. What do you think about Haley Degan's impact on NASCAR? Will she change the sport forever, or will the system ultimately maintain control? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from the world of motorsports.
It's $100 million. Maybe you guys should get some money together, and I'll go down and get it, and you guys can buy me some tickets too.
You got a better chance of getting struck by lightning.
It's easy to get struck by lightning. Hold a big metal pole up in a rainstorm.
Reality star collapses in courtroom. The beloved Pawn Stars personality Austin "Chumley" Russell faced a shocking moment when he fell unconscious during his own sentencing hearing. But what led to this dramatic courtroom scene? From pawnshop worker to millionaire TV star to facing 20 years in prison, Chumlee's wild journey took the most unexpected turn when police raided his Las Vegas mansion. Guns, drugs, and a secret double life, the lovable reality TV personality had a shocking dark side that nobody saw coming. For over a decade, Austin Chumlee Russell has been one of reality television's most beloved personalities. Known for his laid-back attitude and comedic timing on History Channel's Pawn Stars, Chumlee quickly became a fan favorite and household name. What began as a job at his friend Corey Harrison's family pawn shop turned into television stardom when Pawn Stars premiered. The show became a cable TV phenomenon, producing over 500 episodes and making Chumlee an unexpected breakout star. Despite being initially cast as the shop's comic relief, Chumlee proved his value by developing expertise in specific collectibles. His genuine personality and emotional connection with viewers helped cement his place in reality TV history. But as Chumlee's fame grew, so did the pressure. In his own words, "I've lived two completely different lives. Fame has a way of making you feel invincible. I was determined to enjoy every moment, especially when people recognized me everywhere I went. That fame translated into serious money." Chumlee leveraged his celebrity status into multiple business ventures, including a candy shop on the Las Vegas Strip and a personal clothing line. His social media showcased a life of luxury, expensive cars, a mansion, and an extensive collection of sneakers and jewelry. However, behind this carefully crafted public image, a troubling reality was taking shape. "I went from being an ordinary guy to someone who couldn't go to Walmart without taking 500 photos. Chumlee once revealed in a rare candid interview, "It drove me crazy. I turned to things to help me deal, and it almost cost me everything." The gap between his lovable on-screen persona and his private life continued to widen. Then, in March 2016, everything came crashing down. Las Vegas police raided Chumlee's mansion. Initially connected to a sexual assault investigation, what officers discovered inside led to charges that shocked fans across the country. According to court records, police found multiple firearms, including assault rifles, along with drugs and drug paraphernalia. The search warrant, initially executed for an unrelated investigation, uncovered a side of Chumlee that nobody had seen on television. While no sexual assault charges were filed due to insufficient evidence, prosecutors built a strong case on multiple felony weapons and drug charges. If convicted on all counts, Chumlee faced up to 20 years in prison. The legal battle that followed captivated both entertainment news and Chumlee's millions of fans. As he entered the courtroom for his trial, camera flashes illuminated his somber expression. Notably absent were his Pawn Stars co-stars. Prosecutors painted a damning picture, presenting evidence of what they described as serious violations of controlled substance and firearms laws. Photos displayed in court showed the extent of items seized from Chumlee's home, causing the reality star to stare at the floor and shake his head. Chumlee's defense team argued that their client had no prior criminal record and that his fame had clouded his judgment, making it difficult to distinguish between normal and excessive behavior. They emphasized that he never intended to harm anyone and had maintained a positive public image in many ways. As the trial progressed, plea negotiations became central to the proceedings. The stakes couldn't have been higher, not just Chumlee's personal freedom, but his entire career and the millions of dollars that came with it. On the final day of proceedings, the courtroom was packed with Pawn Stars fans, some holding supportive signs. Judge Michael Davidson reviewed the plea agreement reached between prosecution and defense teams. Chumlee had pleaded guilty to one firearms charge and one minor drug offense, with the remaining charges dropped as part of the agreement. Though his legal team exchanged cautious glances, Chumlee remained tense.